G'day folks, thanks for checking out my videos and YouTube channel. If you're interested in learning self-defense at home, you can go to my website, which is www.happylifeme.net, and there you can check out all my learning self-defense courses at home, and there's other products there as well. Also, you can click the link in the description box below the video and that'll take you straight to the website also. And one last thing, if you'd like to click the subscribe button, you can subscribe to this channel, hit the little bell notification, and you'll be updated with videos every week on self-defense as I post them. See you inside. Oh, g'day folks. I thought I'd do another video today on my newest blog post called Self-Defense for Women and How to Be Happy. So I'm just going to read through my post here. You can check it out yourself if you like by going to my website, which is happylifeme.net, and you can find it on there. And as I said, it's called Self-Defense for Women, How to Be Happy. And you can find it under the self-defense tips section. If you have a look there up the top, shouldn't be too hard to find. But let me read through this with you, and you can see what you think and see if it makes sense, and we'll go from there. Hopefully it makes a little bit of sense. But we'll start off here. Self-defense for women, how to be happy. When talking about self-defense for women and how to be happy, a very important part of this question is asking, how do you see the world? And how are you reacting to the environment around you? Now this is exactly the same whether it's for men or women. Completely exactly the same. We're no different in this particular area. So, but we're talking about women, so it's a self-defense for women website, so this is just what we're talking about. Everyone wants to be happy, and everyone is doing what they can to try and be happy. So even when you see people doing the dumbest things you've ever seen in your life, they're not doing them in their mind to make their life worse. They're doing it because they think it's the right thing to do, and to try and make their lives, or give themselves, more happiness. So we'll go to here. What does your glass look like? Is your glass half full or half empty? I'm sure everyone has heard this saying, but it is so important to live by. For if your glass is half empty the whole time, then nothing is going to be good enough. You will think everything can always be done better, and you will never be content with what you have. Overall, you may be described as a negative person. So if your glass is always half empty and everything's negative, you can just look around and find things to be negative. Like for example, I can do it right now, and I can say, I can just pick negative. So I could say, I'm a little bit cold, or I don't have a stool to sit on, or there's cars driving past outside and some of them are too loud. Maybe my car keys. I don't have a nice car, or my car's not nice enough, or I want something better. So you can just look around and pick all these negative things. Or if your glass is half full, you can look at the exact same environment and just pick the good things. So for example, that could be, I have an excellent car. I'm happily sitting in a room here. I'm comfortable. I'm doing this piece of work when I want to. No one's telling me what to do. No one's telling me to stop. I've had a good day. I just had a lunch. I had a nice sandwich. So if you just want to focus on your glass is half full, in the exact same environment, somebody can focus on all the negative things. And if there are no negative things, if you look hard enough, you can find them. And if you look hard enough, you can find the positives as well. So this all depends on how you look at the world. This point one, what does your glass look like? When we come across people who are always excited, always happy, always in a good mood, they are the ones who will always have their glass half full. If you go through life with your glass always half empty, you're never going to be fully content or happy. You're going to always want something better, something newer, something faster, something bigger, something smaller. Nothing will be just right, and you'll never be happy with that. Now, it is important that you look for the good in every situation, for there really is only good. Everything that happens is always only for the better. And if you're not sure how a so-called bad situation can be good, you just have to look a bit deeper, because there's always, everything is for the good. You just have to be looking for it. If you don't, then you're going to go through life with your glass half empty. This means to a lot of people that they don't have enough. They will always strive for something more. They don't earn enough money. Their house is never big enough. Nothing is good enough. And on it can go. It is very hard then, if nothing is good enough, to set a standard in your mind that is actually good enough. So if you think you've bought the best car, next year there'll be another car, a newer model. It'll be shinier, it'll be more up to date, and your old car will not be good enough. So if you're always going through life looking for something better, you'll never be completely at ease with where you are. We'll carry on with this. There is good in every situation is point 2. For you can find good in every situation. I suggest that every time something is not good enough in your mind, that is because at that moment in time you're looking at your glass in a way that is half empty. You can always be half full if you look at the same situation in a different, more positive perspective. So if you're complaining about something, it's just because you're focusing on the negative, not on the good. Point 3. You choose your thoughts when learning to be happy. Now this might sound ridiculous, and I think in some ways it is, but in some ways it's not. And it's not easy to do, but I think I'm right with this. The good thing about every situation is that your glass is half empty. If your glass is half empty, then you have the opportunity to fill the rest of the glass with anything you like. You can completely transform your life simply by changing your thoughts. You can fill the glass with depressing thoughts, angriness, sadness, frustration, blame, and on the list can go. All negative thoughts. Negative towards everything and every part of your life. So you can keep filling your bucket full of negativity if you choose to, if you want. It's up to you, completely up to you. But you can also fill it full of positivity. Point 4, how will you fill your glass? Or you can also start filling your glass with good thoughts, bit by bit, millimeter by millimeter. Slowly start diluting all the negativity and bad thoughts that were once there. This will start building new and more consistent positive thoughts that, if you keep up the nurturing, will lead to new habits. So you might say 10 bad things about today, and that's it, nothing good. But you can say 9 bad things and 1 good thing. So if you just look around, for example, everything is no good today. I complain about everything. Here's my sunglasses. If I really try, a positive thing is I have a nice pair of sunglasses. They're not broken and they work perfectly good if it's bright outside. I can put them on and I don't hurt my eyes. So that is simply one positive thought. And you can do that for everything. 1 time a day, 10 times a day, as many times a day, if you choose to. These new habits can help you see that in most cases, most of the time, that your life is pretty much excellent. So if you complain about 100 things in a day, or 1 thing 100 times, if you look at your whole life, there will be more things that are good than that are bad. You know, you have a house to sleep in most likely. If you have a computer or a phone that you're watching this video in, then you have a phone. If you have a phone, you probably, hopefully, have somewhere to sleep, because sleeping is more important than a phone. You have all these things. You probably have access to food, access to friends, access to a television, access to the internet. You know, so it's all about what you focus on. Number 5, you choose to carry your anger. Women's self-defense is 90% mindset. This is very true, because in most cases, all of self-defense for men and women come down to everything that happens before the physical abuse or the emotional abuse starts. But let's just keep moving on. So many people travel through life holding grudges and holding anger from years ago. When you do this, it is like having a bucket, and this bucket you have to carry everywhere with you. Every bit of anger, frustration, hate and disappointment you have to carry in this bucket. So imagine you've got a bucket and it's empty. If you carry this empty bucket, no disappointment, no grudges, then you can carry it pretty much everywhere you go and it's not a big problem. Now imagine you get the same bucket and you put a centimetre of concrete in there, and the next day another centimetre of concrete, and then the next day before you've got this bucket full of concrete, which is heavy and awkward to carry, a huge pain to put anywhere, to pick up, to take with you, to sit on your shoulder, to sit on your head, to put on the floor. But everywhere you go, you've got to carry this bucket full of concrete, which is heavy and annoying and exhausting and not good. The empty bucket is way better. And it's up to you whether you carry this bucket around full of concrete and grudges and anger and frustration, or whether you dump it out and you carry an empty bucket. Better still, you have no bucket. As time goes on, you add more and more weight to this bucket and it becomes harder to carry, weighing you down a little bit more each day. Point 6. Stop carrying your anger. Let it go. The problem with this is that every time you look down, you can see the bucket. And in the bucket sits everything that upsets you. What many people don't realize, even though it's not easy and can take a lot of practice, is that you can let go of the bucket so that every time you look down, all you see is your feet. You don't have to carry this anger and the frustration and resentment with you everywhere. You can, it's your choice, it's free will, but you don't have to. Practice. It's okay to make mistakes. Everything takes practice. You can drop the bucket and take 2 steps, look down and the bucket is there again. You have to learn these things. So drop your bucket once more, take another 2 steps, look down and the bucket is still there. This just takes repetition. And what I mean by the bucket is, you can try and think positive and then a minute later you think negative again. Well, you just have to practice more positivity, more happy thoughts. And then you might last 2 minutes, and the next time you might last 5 minutes, and the next time you might last 10 minutes before you go back in your old ways. But if you keep practicing and you purposely force yourself to look at all the good things. Here's another example. Look how fantastic this little torch is. It works fantastic. So that could be a simply, very simple explanation of something positive. You can do that everywhere. Look how nice this wall is. That's a positive thing. Look how nice this mouse is. Like, they're all positive things, and as silly as it sounds, they add up. And it's better to say, look how nice the mouse is, look how nice the wall is, than saying something negative over and over and over again, because you're building a habit, regardless of which way you do it. Let's move on here. As time goes by, you'll be able to take 5 steps, then 10 steps, then 20 before the bucket appears again. So as time goes on, you'll get better at this. You have to realize that carrying this bucket full of your past hates, problems, resentments are not going to do you any good. It's only going to make your life harder. You can carry these things, you can not let them go, but it will make your life harder, not better. Do you want to live with your anger? Point 8. If you had to swim across a lake, would you want to do it holding a bucket full of stones? If you had to crawl through a mud swamp, would you want to drag the same bucket with you? The answer to these questions is no, of course not. For if you did, it would make it harder to achieve your goals. You don't want to carry this resentment. You want to let it go. Just let it go. The moment you drop your bucket, drop all your anger and hate that you are holding, is the moment you will realize that it is much, much easier to walk without it. So the better you get at this stuff, and over time you look back and you'll think, my God, I did so many dumb things and held on to grudges for so long. This is what you'll think after time, if you master this. Point 9. It's not easy, but it's important. I'm not saying this is easy to do, but it is not impossible either. I think, however, it is a must if you want to lead a happy and healthy life. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to slip back in your old ways, and this is all part of learning. There are many books to read. You can go and see a counsellor or just reflect quietly by yourself, whatever works for you. There's many ways and lots of help you can get with this stuff if you need it. All you need to do is drop the bucket for 1 hour, and in 2 hours, and little bit by little bit, you'll start seeing a difference in your life. Then you realize you can be happy for just a little bit of time. Then you will know it is possible to be happy for a little bit longer next time, and on it goes. Point 10. It will get easier. As you progress and develop your new skills, you will gain confidence that you can do it. You can make changes in your life, and if you keep working, you will improve every single day. Every day you'll get better. If you are the worst in the world at being negative, every day you can get a little bit better if you try. If your glass is half empty, it is like carrying a full bucket. If your bucket is half full and you see everything, if your bucket is half full and you see everything is promising and exciting, and there's something to look forward to, this means that soon, with a little bit of practice, you will look down and you will see only your feet. As in, with practice, you'll get better, and one day you'll look down and you won't have any bucket full of any grudges, or they'll be there so lightly that it's just not going to bother you, and you'll be so proud of yourself because it's possible. Your attitude is everything. Oh, here we go. How does this relate to women's self-defense? So this is what we're getting to here. Your attitude is everything. Your mood and attitude plays a big part in how you think and react to the world, how you treat people, how you respond to things, and in return, how the world and how people respond to you. If you are always in a bad mood, angry at the world, this will reflect on how you react around people and how they react around you. This is very important. Your attitude determines how the world and the people in the world react to you. Do you have a short fuse? This will also determine how short your fuse is. Your attitude will determine, and how you see the world will determine how short your fuse is. Do you have a short fuse? This will also determine how short a fuse you have when people annoy you, and what your response might be to a situation and people when you get angry and frustrated. When you carry anger and frustration, resentment or judgments, this can reflect in the way that people react to you, how they react around you, and how you react to them. This is very important, this part. Are you fun to be around? If your temper is short and you are rude to people, some people will leave you alone and think you are just not worth being around. Where other people might take your attitude personally and start firing back at you with their own comments and thoughts. This is important, this stuff. This can aggravate each of you, escalating the situation as both people get angrier and angrier. In some cases, this can lead to violence and abuse. It's important, this stuff, to read and just think about for a little bit. Do you hold grudges? If you carry resentment from past relationships or situations, whether it be work or personal relationships, it can affect your life very poorly and sabotage your future potential happiness. Yeah. Self-explanatory, I think this is. Finding yourself in a situation where you cannot forgive anybody if you think you cannot get over something. Finding yourself in a situation where you cannot forgive somebody if you think you cannot get over something, bottling it up and not leaving the situation can make things much, much worse down the track. You've got to know when to leave. You've got to know when the problem might be coming from you. You've got to know when the problem might be coming from somebody else. You've got to know when to stay, and as it says here, you've got to know when to leave. Should you stay or leave? You might be better off leaving your job, leaving a relationship and moving on, as staying in a situation where you are in a mood that is spiteful, bitter and upset, where you are constantly unhappy and carrying things that you cannot let go of, will not solve any problems or increase your joy in day-to-day life. Learning to forgive, let go, or understanding that where you are now and how you are feeling are sometimes from the things that happened long ago. Maybe the present situation may play very little part in your actual current mood. If you can understand that maybe, I don't know the answer to this question, but maybe what you're upset about now is presently happening, or maybe you're bringing things from long ago to the present. And this is when it comes down to dropping things from a long time ago, or they affect you presently. If you can work out whether you're upset now because of what's happening now, or because of what happened years ago that you're still holding on to, this can make a big difference. If you understand those things, you definitely have a chance of being happy. Sometimes learning to let go of the past is the key to all your answers. Why are you upset? Are you upset because of what is happening now, or is it because of something that has happened a long time ago? Depending on the answer to this, it may help you decide if you should stay or leave your current situation. As doing the same thing as you are doing now will only give you the same results as you currently have. Learn to let go of the bucket, your past hates and regrets. It will make your life much easier. So that is the end of the post. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense. You can read it yourself if you like. As I said, it's at my website www.happylifeme.net, and the article was called, to get it exactly right, Self-Defense for Women, How to Be Happy. But as I said, it is exactly the same for men. None of this stuff is any different between men and women, really. Kind of a little bit, but 50-50. But I hope you found that interesting. If you did, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, you hit the little bell, which means you'll get notifications every time I put up a new video. Everything I put up on this channel is towards self-defense techniques and self-defense for women. So you can check out my website. There'll also be a thing in the description below of products you can buy and look more into this stuff. You learn self-defense from home through courses I've got, video courses along with books and other products like that. Anyway, I hope you've got something out of that, and enjoy the rest of your day or the night whenever you watch the video. And I'll see you next time. See you later.
Don't forget to hit subscribe. See you in the next video.